What happens when one of the world's most controversial leaders makes a move that feels less like diplomacy and more like a personal strike? Imagine this: Donald Trump, a man defined by his unapologetic style, shuts the door on Britain's Labour leader, Keir Starmer, barring him from one of the most significant political gatherings of the year. This is a critical warning for Britain's political leadership about what lies ahead if Donald Trump is once again elected president. The government will find its agenda constantly disrupted, thrown off course almost every single day. This chaos won't come from a political rival, but from the president himself, from a spontaneous tweet, an unexpected White House announcement, or a policy decision designed to dominate the news cycle and pull focus from everything the government wants to accomplish. We've already seen how this works. Think back to a previous administration, where the US president would simply appear on the White House lawn, in full view of the world's cameras, and declare, "Something's going on in the UK, I'm going to go and call Theresa." Moments later, the phone in Downing Street would ring. A collective groan would surely be heard. "The president is on the phone," a voice would announce. This unpredictable, reactive political climate is an early sign of what's to come. The UK's political landscape is also undergoing a profound transformation. Reform UK is back at the centre of attention, driven by a surprising new direction. Even figures like Elon Musk have entered the fray, intensifying the public debate about fundamental issues of justice and free expression. This story isn't just about party politics, it's about the very future of democracy in the UK, and it's a moment that demands close attention. Before we go any deeper, if you're finding this content insightful, please do me a favor. It is deeply embarrassing for Britain to have such a public and well-known special relationship with the United States, yet Donald Trump has made it clear he will not be extending a formal invitation to Keir Starmer. The reasoning behind this decision is entirely transparent. There is little doubt it's a direct result of Starmer's past criticisms of the former president, as well as comments from other senior Labour figures like David Lammy and the highly public condemnation from Sadiq Khan. In politics, you simply cannot make such pointed personal statements. So what happens when one of the world's most polarizing leaders makes a move that feels less like a diplomatic calculation and more like a personal vendetta? Consider this: Donald Trump, a man defined by his unyielding style and demand for personal loyalty, has intentionally shut the door on Keir Starmer, barring the leader of the UK Labour Party from one of the year's most significant global meetings. This is not a standard diplomatic tactic. It is a deliberate and calculated act of exclusion with far-reaching consequences. Think about the gravity of this act. Starmer, representing one of the world's most influential nations, is sidelined at a truly pivotal moment. The repercussions will be felt across the globe, putting a serious strain on traditional alliances and raising critical questions about the future of international diplomacy. But what is the true motive behind this dramatic move? What motivated Trump to take such a pointed and polarizing stance? To truly understand, we must look at the history of their relationship, and when Donald Trump is inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States, I truly believe it will be a historical embarrassment that Britain's Prime Minister will not be in attendance. Let's get the view of Tobias Elwood on this. Tobias, a very good morning to you. Good morning. It's a terrible situation, isn't it? Here we are, a nation with a so-called special relationship with the United States, a long history of mutual support through conflicts and peacetime, and yet we will not have a seat at the table. This isn't merely a story about two leaders. It's a story about two nations whose histories are deeply linked, their futures intertwined. But here's the twist. Trump doesn't follow the conventional diplomatic rulebook. He operates on his own terms. When he feels challenged, his response isn't just a harsh word, it's a decisive action. Join us as we unravel the reasons behind this diplomatic snub, explore the fallout it's creating, and discuss what it all means for the future of relations between the US and the UK. We've heard what can happen when, as Trump sees it, nations open their borders. He has publicly stated that cities like Paris and London are no longer recognizable and that he would never let that happen to the United States, which he says has an incredible culture and tradition. This highlights his core belief system, which directly influences his foreign policy decisions. For Starmer, attending this meeting would have been a pivotal moment, a chance to present his vision for Britain on the world stage. It was an opportunity to build stronger ties with the US, to contribute to key global decisions, and to reaffirm Britain's role as a major international player. His absence, however, has not gone unnoticed. It has sparked intense questions and debates about the UK's global standing under his leadership. Trump's decision to exclude him was not simply a reaction to Labour's stance during the 2020 US elections. It was a calculated move, a message designed to make waves far beyond the walls of a single room. Donald Trump has always been a firm believer in loyalty, seeing it not just as a virtue but as the foundation of his relationships. When that loyalty is broken, the consequences are both personal and deliberate. To understand the current tensions, we have to look back to the 2020 US election. At that time, members of the UK Labour Party, including some prominent members of Parliament, openly campaigned against Trump, publicly endorsing his political rivals. To Trump, this was not just a difference in political opinion, it felt like a direct act of betrayal. And if there is one thing Trump is known for, it is his unwavering and long-lasting memory when it comes to those he feels have crossed him. Trump's decision to exclude Keir Starmer was not a random diplomatic choice. It was a calculated move to send a message that underscored his belief in accountability and the importance of respect in political dealings. While his relationship with Starmer remains distinctly cold, Trump's warm regard for figures like Nigel Farage highlights a striking contrast, reflecting the kind of allegiance he values and the alliances he prioritizes. We've heard Trump himself speak highly of Farage, describing him as a spectacular man who is shaking it up pretty good over in the UK and has always been my friend. He also expresses his love for the British people, mentioning his mother's Scottish heritage and the great support they've shown him. The stakes are incredibly high, and the message is clear. In Trump's world, respect and loyalty are non-negotiable. Keir Starmer's challenges, however, go far beyond his disagreements with Donald Trump. Back home, his leadership is facing growing criticism, particularly on the issue of immigration. Many feel he's lost sight of the needs of British citizens, with some arguing that his policies appear to favour new arrivals at the expense of the public. This growing frustration has left a portion of the electorate feeling neglected and disillusioned. The promises Starmer made during his campaign to rebuild public trust and put citizens first are now under intense scrutiny, raising questions about whether he can truly deliver on those commitments. Starmer's ability to navigate this challenge will not only determine his political future but also shape the very future of US-UK relations. Trump's decision to exclude him wasn't just about settling a score. It was a move with global consequences, a statement about loyalty, respect, and the complexities of international politics. The fallout from this decision will be felt for years to come. For Starmer, the task is clear: he must rebuild trust, mend relationships, and prove himself as a leader capable of representing Britain on the world stage. This moment serves as a powerful wake-up call for Britain, further sidelining Starmer. Farage represents the kind of leader Trump values: bold, unapologetic, and unwavering in his convictions. For Starmer, this comparison is both a challenge and an opportunity. Can he rise to the occasion and prove himself as a leader capable of matching Farage's influence? Or will he continue to be overshadowed by a figure who seems to have Trump's ear? The road ahead for Starmer is anything but easy. To regain his footing, he must not only address the rift with Trump but also tackle the growing discontent at home. This requires a delicate balancing act, rebuilding trust with his constituents while proving to the international community that he is a capable and credible leader. For Trump, this moment is a victory. By excluding Starmer, he has reinforced his position as a leader who demands respect and loyalty. But it's also a gamble. Will this move strengthen the US-UK alliance by forcing Britain to re-evaluate its leadership? Or will it drive a permanent wedge between the two nations? As this story unfolds, one thing is certain: the stakes have never been higher. The decisions made in the coming months will shape not only the future of US-UK relations but also the political legacies of Donald Trump and Keir Starmer. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more in-depth political commentary, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the world of power and politics. Thanks for watching.